Good morning, students. It's a very vital branch of science that is called organic chemistry. Let's start it. First of all, we go through the definition. What do you mean by organic chemistry? Organic chemistry. Simple definition: in organic chemistry, the principal element we consider principal element is nothing but your carbon atom, that is carbon atom. So organic chemistry deals with the carbon containing compounds. Okay, study of carbon containing compound is called organic chemistry. Study of carbon containing compound is known as organic chemistry. Is known as organic chemistry. That clear? So do you know the term hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon. So hydrocarbon means the compound which is composed of carbon and hydrogen. Carbon plus hydrogen. So carbon plus hydrogen, these are the compounds like methane, ethane, lots of hydrocarbons are there. And suppose I substitute hydrogen atom of this hydrocarbon by any other atom or group, then the compounds that I am getting over here, these are known as the derivative of hydrocarbon. This one is hydrocarbon, and the compound which is obtained by the replacement of hydrogen by other species, these are known as derivative of hydrocarbon. Derivative of hydrocarbon. So again, the definition of organic chemistry can be expressed as study of these hydrocarbons and their derivative. So I can write the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of hydrocarbon and its derivative. Hydrocarbon and its derivative is called organic chemistry. Is called organic chemistry. This is the definition regarding organic chemistry: carbon containing compound, or you can say hydrocarbon and their derivatives. Study of hydrocarbon and their derivatives is known as organic chemistry. Clear? Okay. Next we will go through sources of organic compounds. Sources of organic compounds. So I can consider two cases over here. One is source, means natural source, and another one that is by human made artificially. I can write synthetic source. Okay, synthetic source. So most probably from natural source organic compound we are getting about 10% only, but above 90% we are getting by means of synthetic approach. Synthetic approach means these are made artificially, above 90%. Artificially means, you know, these are simply plastics and dyes, etc. That is made by human being. And natural source means organic compounds are found in plants, animals, fungi, or from any bacterial source, bacterial decomposition. And the next source you can say that is coal, and all natural gases like petroleum, natural gases, and petroleum from natural gas or petroleum. So these are the sources of organic compounds from which organic compounds can be derived. Clear? Next we will see bonding in organic compounds. What type of chemical interaction is present among the organic compounds? Bonding in organic compounds. Bonding in organic compounds. Mostly all the organic compounds are covalent in nature. All organic compounds are covalent in nature. Covalent in nature. So covalent in nature, and in all organic compounds, particularly the principal element as I have told you, that is carbon atom. Carbon atom is bonded to hydrogen. Clear? Somehow oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, few other elements by means of covalent bonds. By means of covalent bonds. How? Let us see. If I consider methane, carbon, 4 electrons and 4 hydrogens coming like this, Eg1, you know, and you see how many covalent bonds are there? 4 covalents are there, leading to CH. This is the structure of methane. Likewise, you can write the structure of ethane by means of only covalent bonds, the structure of ethane. Carbon atom also linked with one another by double bonds. Suppose I can write C2H4. What will be its structure? You see, C double bond, C H H. So here you see, this one is sigma, this one is pi. Here sigma, all are sigma bonds. Sigma covalent bonds you can say over here. Acetylene, C2H2 will be H, C, triple bond C, H, pi, sigma. Let us do the structure of benzene. You can write like this: C double bond C, single bond C, double bond C, single bond C, double bond C. So this is structure of benzene. Only covalent bonds are there. Clear? So bonding means mostly all organic compounds are covalent in nature. That means the constituting atoms combine to one another by means of covalent bonds only. Clear? Next we will discuss, that is tetravalency nature of a carbon atom. Eg1 you can you have taught it in your chemical bonding chapter. Again I am repeating over here. Tetravalency nature of carbon atom. Tetravalent nature of carbon atom. That clear? So what will be the ground state configuration of carbon? Tell me. The ground state configuration of carbon atom is carbon 6 1s2 2s2 to px1 to py1 to pz0. This one is the ground state configuration. So how can you get maximum covalency? This one is the valence shell having equivalent energy. One electron from 2s gets shifted to pz. So in the first excited state, the configuration of carbon in its excited state will be is given as C6. The excited state configuration can be 2s1 to px1 to py1 to pz1. Right now you see how many unpaired electrons are there in the valence shell? 4. So maximum covalency of carbon atom is 4. So it can form 4 covalent bonds with the combined elements. That's why in organic chemistry, the carbon containing compounds where carbon atom is present is always associated with 4 covalent bonds. I can write over here. That's why the carbon atom is always surrounded by 4 covalent bonds. 4 covalent bonds. It has tendency to form double or triple bond. Okay, it has tendency to form either double and triple bonds. That is called, it has tendency to form multiple covalent bonds. Clear? So in case of methane, you see it is associated with 4 hydrogen bonds, 4 covalent bonds. In ethane, there is formation of a double bond, ethene. Clear? In case of acetylene, there is formation of a triple bond between carbon atoms, but each carbon atom is always associated with 4 tetravalency in nature. Tetravalent bonds 1, 2, 3, 4. How many bonds? 4 bonds are there. At each carbon atom is associated with 4 covalent bonds in order to satisfy its tetravalent nature. Clear? Now let us discuss the representation, how to represent the covalently bonded organic compounds. That is representation of organic compounds. Representation of organic compounds. Organic compounds are represented by means of 3 different formulas. One is molecular formula, and second type, that is structural formula. And the third one, that is condensed formula. Let us discuss these 3 formulas through an example. Clear? suppose I am considering ethane. So what is its molecular formula? That will be C2H6. Clear? Next, if I represent its structural formula, so what will be its structural formula? C assigned like this. So open chain structure. This is its structural formula. Next, if I write its condensed formula, then you can write CH3. Only carbon bond you have to represent. Suppose methyl chloride I am considering, CH3Cl. This one is its molecular formula. The structural formula can be written like this: CH3Cl. Chloroform. Next, it's a condensed formula, can be written as CH3Cl. Clear? If I need to represent acetaldehyde, CH3CHO is its molecular formula. Its structural formula can be written as CH3 C double bond OH, is acetaldehyde. It's a structural formula. And condensed formula you can simply write down CH3CHO, acetaldehyde. This is its condensed formula. Clear? Next, if I consider benzene, that will be C6H6, simply its molecular formula C6H6, and its structural formula. What you have to do? You have to assign like this: H. So this one is its structural formula, and condensed formula can write down like this: the condensed formula for benzene. Clear? So these are the different mode of representation of organic compounds which are covalent in nature. Next we will discuss classification of organic compounds. Classification of organic compounds. See, classification has been made like this: organic compounds particularly these are first classified into two categories. One is acyclic or aliphatic compounds. Clear? And the second one, that is cyclic or closed chain compounds. Cyclic or closed chain compounds. So acyclic compounds means these are open chain compounds. These are open chain compounds, and these are known as aliphatic because obtained from fats. These are open chain compounds which obtained from fats of living organisms. Fats of living organisms. So aliphatic compounds means plainly CH3 ethane, CH2 double bond CH, single bond CH3. These are open chain compounds. Is that clear? So these compounds are aliphatic compounds or acyclic compounds. Next, these cyclic or closed ring compounds. These are the compounds in which carbon atoms are linked with one another in such a way that the compound has ring structure, ring-like structure. Like nahi? Is that clear? I can write the compounds having cyclic ring structure, these are known as cyclic or closed chain compounds. Again, these are classified into two categories. One is homocyclic, or you can say carbocyclic, and the rest one, that is heterocyclic. Heterocyclic means in the ring, if the ring consists of only carbon atoms, then it is known as homocyclic or carbocyclic. The ring, that is ring having carbon atoms only, that is called homocyclic. Bright example, you can say cyclohexane, likewise homocyclic. And heterocyclic means if there is a presence of any heteroatom. You can write over here, presence of any heteroatom in the ring, that is called heterocyclic. For example, you see CH2 CH. So here CH, this is furan. You see, in this 5-membered ring, carbon atoms are there, including this oxygen. Similarly, look at this one, pyridine. Here you see, among the carbon atoms, one nitrogen atom is there. So these are called heterocyclic compounds. Again, this homocyclic or carbocyclic broadly classified into two categories. One is alicyclic compounds, and another one is aromatic compounds. Alicyclic compounds means having property to that of aliphatic hydrocarbons, having similar in properties to that of aliphatic compounds. Alicyclic means it can be cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclohexene, etc. Clear? This is CH2, cyclopropane, CH2, cyclobutane, cyclohexene, etc. These are alicyclic compounds. And aromatic compound, again these aromatic compounds are classified into two categories. One is benzenoid, another one is non-benzenoid. And next one, that is non-benzenoid. And you know what do you mean by benzenoid, non-benzenoid. So benzenoid means compound must have benzene ring. So simply benzene is itself is an aromatic compound. See, naphthalene is also an aromatic compound. I can do for anthracene also. This one also aromatic compound having benzene units. And non-benzenoid aromatic compounds, I can consider azulene, 7-membered ring. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 member ring. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That clear? And a 5 member ring is also connected to here. 1 2 3 4 5 member ring. This is the structure of azulene. Although it does not have any benzene ring, but still it is an aromatic compound. So these are the detailed classification of organic compounds. We will study one by one as through the proceeding of our syllabus. Don't worry for that, don't bother for that, but this is the representation of a schematic diagram for the classification of organic compounds. Next we will discuss some fundamental terminology, like first one, that is functional group. What do you mean by functional group? Functional group. Functional group is responsible for the chemical properties of a compound. So without this group, you can't predict the properties of the compound, or you can say it is very difficult to predict what type of a compound is this. Clear? So functional group, the group which is responsible, the group which is responsible for the chemical properties, of an organic compound is called a functional group. Is called a functional group. Called a functional group. For example, if I write alcohol, class of organic compound alcohol, then what is its functional group? OH. If OH group is there, then we can conclude that the compound is a class of, belongs from class of alcohol. For example, if I write CH3OH, this is methyl alcohol. Clear? Why we are saying methyl alcohol? Because of this OH group. OH group is responsible to show its alcoholic property. C2H5OH is called ethyl alcohol. So which one is functional group? OH. I can write CH3CHO, acetaldehyde. Compound is acetaldehyde. Aldehyde. Which one is functional group? CHO. Ketone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So this one is C double bond O group is the functional group. Carboxylic acid, you can write carboxylic acid. This is, let's say, acetic acid. I am writing CH3COH. This COOH group is the functional group. Functional group. Clear? Similarly, acid halide, if I consider acid halide CH3 C double bond O X. So here C double bond O X is the functional group. Is the functional group. Likewise, this functional group is responsible for the chemical properties of an organic compound. Unless presence of functional group, we can't conclude that whether this compound belongs from this category or this category. Clear? For thiol, the functional group is SH. For ether, the functional group is this one, the representation of ether. Clear? Next, let us define homologous series. Homologous series. So homologous series, a series of organic compounds, a series of organic compounds which belongs from a particular class, in which any two consecutive members differ from one another, each other by a methylene group. That is CH2 group, or you can say 14 parts by mass is known as a homologous series. For example, if the class of organic compound, for example, let us consider monohydric alcohol. Let us consider monohydric alcohol having general formula that is CnH2n plus 1 OH. So this one is the general formula of monohydric alcohol. Now you consider the value of N 1, 2, 3 consequently likewise. So if I put the value of N that is equal to 1, so I am getting the compound CH3OH. This is called methyl alcohol. If again consequently I consider put the value of N 2, 3 likewise, C2H7OH, C2H5. Next C3H7OH. Next C4H9OH. So these are the various compounds I am getting like this. Now what is the difference between any two consecutive members? CH2, OH get cancelled, so remaining CH2 by a methylene group. So here you shall see CH2 methylene group. These are known as methylene group, or 14 parts by mass. For carbon 12, for hydrogen 2, that is 14 parts by mass. So this includes a homologous series for monohydric alcohol. Clear? Okay. And in a homologous series, the class of, as I have told you, they belongs from a particular class. That means they have similar properties. These compounds have similar properties. These elements have similar properties. Clear? Next, the term catenation. Due to the tetravalent nature of carbon, it has a tendency to link with other atoms and with also itself to form large chain So the potential of carbon to form chains with itself and also other atoms, that property, that chain formation property is known as catenation. So let us write down its definition. Due to its tetravalency nature, due to the tetravalency nature of carbon atom, which has a tendency to form, which has tendency to link with itself, to link with itself or other atoms, to form chain, to form large chain, okay, to form carbon chains or other chains, to form chains. Such chain forming, such a property of carbon atom is known as catenation, So carbon atom, due to its tetravalent nature, it can form chains like this. Is that clear? So this process is known as catenation. Clear? Again, another term, you know it, I think. One is saturated hydrocarbon. And another one is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Saturated hydrocarbon means carbon atoms are linked with one another by single covalent bonds only. Saturated hydrocarbon, or these are known as alkanes, you can say. We will talk about alkane after this GOC. So saturated hydrocarbon, the carbon atoms are bonded by single covalent bonds. Single covalent bonds only. No multiple bond is there. That clear? No multiple bond. That is called saturated hydrocarbon. All alkanes, you can say methane, ethane, propane, etc. These are saturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated means characterized by carbon multiple bonds. Multiple bond means they may contain carbon double or carbon triple bonds. Particularly unsaturated hydrocarbons are your alkene and alkyne. Alkene characterized by carbon double bond, and alkyne characterized by carbon triple bond. Okay, so for today's class this much, you go through that. Okay students, thank you for watching.